Good morning, or actually good afternoon, because I was at school and now I'm back. So yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I just got the heating turned on, so it's still a bit chilly, but it should heat up. But anyway, I got a box from none other than AdTech Advanced Technology Footwear. Yeah, that's a interesting name choice there. But anyway, today's topic is going to be, well, about two things. Number one, which I kind of promised you in the previous video, which was putting together a big timber foilers logging belt. Now, at first I was going to do that. But then I decided that really, like, do I know enough to be able to do a big timber foilers belt at this time? And after I thought about it for a while, I decided that I'm still gonna do it, but I'm not gonna do a big timber foilers belt. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do a professional homeowners or ranch owners or property owner or farm owner, whatever, a person basically who owns a bit of forest and does some small logging projects every once in a while. And you can tell I'm cold, man. My fucking cheeks are, or my mouth does not really want to work. But yeah, so I thought about that I will do that instead, because while I don't think I can really speak for old-timer professional loggers, I think I can still speak for the homeowner, since I live on a farm that has a lot of forest, and plus I'm in a logging school, so I have those two backgrounds right there. But first, what we're going to be doing is unboxing this, because I finally was able to get my very own logging footwear. Now, of course, I've had these, hold on, I've had these for a while, which are my steel logging boots, and these have been great, but as you can see, they're wearing through everywhere, and they're just not that great anymore, to be honest. I mean, they're completely worn through, they're not waterproof anymore, so it's time for an upgrade. And what I really wanted was a pair of logging shoes, which was designed for the Pacific Northwest logging. Now, we have talked about this before with my choice of footwear, and that's usually high-heeled, rugged boots. And the reason is this farm is kind of just built into a small cliff, basically. Like, the cliff has been blown up all around it, and then the farm has been built on top of that, which means that immediately when you walk off the trail, especially at some parts of our forests, not all, but most parts of our forested areas, when you walk off the trail a little bit, you'll be literally walking over like rocky terrain, which slopes up, slopes down, and things of that nature. So I was really looking for a logging boot that would help me whenever I'm doing logging in those sort of environments. And that is what the Pacific Northwest logging boots are made for, because they're made for really rocky, mountainous terrain and stuff like that. And we'll talk about all the features on the boot, which like help you in those situations. So we'll talk about what all those features are. But first, let's get into the box. So let's see what's inside here. And yeah, by the way, I did already open these, and I have been wearing them for 2 days, so I already know what's inside here. But yeah, anyway, so here, look at that. Look how beautiful those things are. Man, oh, kind of got a bit of bending right there. Let's bend that back. Look at those. Look how beautifully magnificent those boots are. Absolutely incredible. In the box, what else do we have? We have a bit of a leather tag right there. What does that say? Genuine leather right there. Got some other stuff. We got a bit of a description of it. What all features the logging boot has and things of that nature. And stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically what all comes in the box. Now, the logging boot. Now let's talk about the features, what are very unique to the Pacific Northwest logging. Now, first of all, where is the Pacific Northwest? Well, the Pacific Northwest lies at the northwestern side of the United States. So at the Canadian border. So we have Oregon and Washington. Those are the two states which are the most northwestern states, I guess, and those are where most of the northwestern logging happens anyway. So this is very unique to those. Now, one feature which these don't really have is the swoop back here, because normally the Pacific Northwest logging boots would have a much greater swoop, which swoops in and then points outward like that. Now this still has it a bit, but not a whole lot. But one thing what this does have is the great big heel. Now the great big heel is meant for whenever you're walking down or walking up a mountainous terrain. This is made for grabbing on to the dirt or grabbing onto the surface and really holding on to you tight. I mean, I'm not 100% sure how the technology works, but that's what I've heard. And I have tried it out a bit. I've used these on some lighter work. I haven't been out logging in a while, so haven't been able to do that yet. But I have walked around in rocky terrains with these, and yeah, it really does help it to grab onto that. And plus, it keeps your foot in a much more, how should I say it? In a much more straighter position. While if you have a very flat shoe like this, immediately when you start walking up slopes, your foot is going to start going like this. But with this great big heel, it's going to keep your foot in the correct position much longer until, of course, once you start going up something like this, it will be different. But it keeps, case in point, it keeps your foot much more in a natural position. Now, something else which I've only seen on the Pacific Northwest logging boots, and that's the false tongue. Now, the false tongue is designed to, because this is of course the shoe tongue right here, and this is a very big weak spot on the boots, or shoes, whatever you want to call these. So what they designed back in the day was put a piece of leather and just lace it through the laces right here. You can see the piece of leather kind of right there. But lace it through the laces, and then that protects, that gives us that extra layer of leather protection right there. Now, if you even want to make it even better, then you can unlace this and flip it around to this side, because the split-sided leather is known to be more durable. Now, these are not fire boots. Now, I know what people are going to ask, are these fire boots? No, these are not fire boots. First of all, fire boots, if you don't know, those are designed for forest fires, and one thing that fire boots cannot have in them is metals. This thing, on the other hand, has a steel toe, and then I even believe, I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on this, but I also do think that it has a metal shank in it, or like a metal bottom to the boot. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think it may have, because it has a lot of weight, and it kind of feels like it may have some metal right here. But in forest fires, you're not allowed to have metals in your boot. Now, why? Well, it's because of the hot surface that you're walking on. That's gonna, the metals inside your boot, if you have metals inside your boot, you trod on that hot surface, they're gonna start heating up, and then they're just gonna burn the shit out of your feet. But yeah, that's the basic design of the logging boot. Now, why did I want the metal steel toes and the metal shanks in them? Because AdTech does make one without these. Well, why did I want them? Well, because these are the boots which I am going to be taking with me. Whenever we go out logging with the school and stuff like that, it is mandatory to have that protection right in front. I don't think you need to have the metal shank, but you definitely need to have the protection in front, the steel toes on the boots. Now, overall, build quality and the way how they feel, they're not broken in yet, so don't get that mixed up. They're not broken in yet, but overall, the feeling, they're very heavy, but they're very comfortable. I was actually using these for day-to-day just activities anyway in the beginning. I've been using these for 3 days, and the first 2 days I was just using these for just normal out and about, and they work surprisingly well as just normal shoes. They're not, well, of course it's noticeable, but it's not that noticeable as you may think it is, which is nice. The leather feels like it's a very thick, heavy-duty leather, so no complaints on that. It feels like the soles are put on very nice on there. But the bottoms is something which, I mean, this is just normal for logging boots anyway, but the bottoms, the treading, I guess, is not good for snow. It is not good for snow. And sure, it's good for if it's dry and you're walking through bad lands and stuff like that, but for snow, it's no good. Stitching, of course. No, I don't think this is nailed in. No, the soles are not nailed in, so they're stitched and glued, which is not the most robust way of doing it, but it's fine for this. Laces are good, but I think that they just look kind of ugly, so I think I'll be changing these laces to some leather laces, because those are usually the strongest ones, and I was able to find a pair of leather laces which fit these shoes online, so I'm going to be buying those and probably changing those to these fabric ones to those leather laces. Partially because they just look better, but also because of their leather laces are usually better and stronger and things of that nature. And yeah, very nice. I really like these shoes. Not really much else to say about them. I really like them. Very much would, at least at this point. I don't know how it's gonna be after a month or a year of using them, but for now, definitely would recommend these. We'll see how good they're in logging, in full-fledged logging once we start that up again in spring, but for now, at least these are pretty good. Okay, so that's gonna do it for today's video. So I thought about doing the whole logging belt thing, but this video is getting pretty long on its own. So I'm gonna split this up into 2 videos. So in this video, we just did the logging boot thing, but in the next video, next time we're gonna do the logging belt. So yes, stay tuned for the next part, and I will see you all in the next one.